This is the 10 o'clock news from the EVC, brought to you by Geotab, My Energy, the AA and EV Civils. And I am John Curtis. Today we're joined by roving reporters Paul, Johnny and Sarah, the Rod, Jane and Freddie of electric vehicles. First, travel news. In a shocking report received here at EVC News, we have learned that our roads are going to be busy this bank holiday weekend. Volumes are expected to be similar to every other bank holiday. Cars, vans and trucks are expected to make up the vast majority of this traffic. More on this significant news as we get it. HMRC has released its latest advisory fuel rates to come into force from September the 1st. As part of this, HMRC has published for the first time the advisory electricity rate, the AER, for plug-in cars. And as we suggested a couple of weeks ago, the rate will be 5 pence per mile. For us at the EV Café News, this leaves questions. Is 5 pence a mile really an incentive to drive electric? With energy prices rising, shouldn't that be reflected in the AER? And are we all just feeling the effect of a Prime Minister and a government on holiday and not seizing the opportunity to make a difference on net zero? Controversial. Sarah, you seem to choke.
Yes, this is rather animated for me. I've always been saying that 5 pence is simply not enough. But this morning I saw a Victorian poster that said train travel 1 pence per mile. And I did some quick calculations and found out that most things, including electric car driving, seems to be between 75 pence and £1 per mile now. So these real life costs have got to take into account the total cost of ownership of the vehicle as well as the initial comparison with how else you could do your fleet operations or your traveling. So train versus car versus public transport or micromobility. I want someone to do a big fat study on today's figures and just see how bad that 5 pence really is. Oh, Paul's on mute.
Paul's on mute. Paul's on mute.
I'm so sorry. I've got a bloody cutter outside and it's been very noisy. So one of the things that really struck me about this whole AER thing is that hybrid vehicles are treated as petrol or diesel. And so they are getting the benefit of like higher rates, but could run on electricity. It seems to me that there's an imbalance and a lack of thought gone into this whole process. And that's the bit that kind of annoys me from a sort of car perspective. Again, that we're almost incentivizing people to move to like the halfway house rather than to do it fully properly, which is perfectly able.
And just to give you a sense of what that figure is, it's gone from 11 to 12 pence per mile for hybrid cars, depending on the engine size. So very clearly, inequality and EVs are being penalised.
I'd say that it's not necessarily challenging the price as much as challenging it being a fixed cost. Because there are still drivers out there that 4 or 5 pence works for them, whether they're still on a fixed rate, whether they have renewable energy or they get access to a free VEN charger at work or whatever, it still works for them. I think the challenge around is the fixed costs, because for some people the variance is a lot higher. Like myself, October the 1st, it's likely going to cost me about 15 to 16 pence per mile with the energy price cap increase.
Although,
you heard it here first.
Shout out to Decade of Doing, who this morning were discussing the price cap, meaning it's going to be 52 pence per kilowatt hour, and some people are still on 14 pence, but only until January. So, this is the people who it's about the will to make this work rather than the mechanics behind how it could work. But something has simply got to change. This isn't okay to be dishing out huge benefits and packages and bonuses to people whilst other people simply can't pay their bills.
Talking about change, a new trial of vehicle-to-grid V2G charging technology has successfully demonstrated that electric vehicles can provide grid support in real time. This is the first time that vehicle-to-grid technology has been demonstrated in Great Britain to show that EVs can receive a direct signal from National Grid ESO to support system balancing. So what this effectively means is that you can store electricity in your vehicle. National Grid can take some of that electricity and use it to balance out demand, or alternatively, put some into your car so that you've got charge when they've got additional capacity, and it can therefore be stored. Vehicle to grid, Johnny, it's a fabulous innovation, isn't it?
It sure is, and it's a bit of a frustration point for me, really, because there's something like, maybe 500,000 cars on the road, electric cars on the road today. And if you look at across an average of, say, 50 kilowatt hours in each car, my back of an envelope maths probably going to serve me incorrectly, but that might mean 25 million kilowatt.
Nope.
So profound.
It is so true that there is a lot of energy tapped up in the vehicles that are on the road. But the great thing about the commercial vehicle sector is, one, they have bigger batteries on average or they will do certainly, than the cars, but also that they will be parked for specific periods of time, particularly overnight and other times like that, where we can discharge and then recharge those vehicles really effectively, giving power back to the grid and mitigating the demand. I think it was, equivalent to like 5,500 wind turbines or something. It's just a ridiculous amount of energy.
Correct.
Tied up. Amazing.
That's exactly right, Paul. The Octopus Energy Group and National Grid worked out that for 1 million EVs exporting for an hour could generate the same amount of power as 5,500 onshore wind turbines. Massive
Amazing.
Potential. Yeah. And at the moment with wind turbines, if you don't have the demand, the energy is just wasted, or indeed we turn turbines off, which is a crime.
And the beauty is that we can actually help businesses mitigate their cost of transition by doing this thing, by selling the energy back to the grid at critical times and taking the energy back at lower costs. It is a no-brainer to, one, help the country, and two, help businesses make the transition.
Thank you, Paul. Almost 3/4 of large fleets want shorter charging times. No, really? Which can compete with a 5-minute fill-up of fuel, according to Autofocus. Longer ranges would benefit employee productivity, it says, saving valuable time on the road. Across the company car park, 43% of vehicles make frequent national business journeys, and extended charging durations, together with a lack of charging facilities, cause excessive downtime. In the latest issue of Cox Automotive's quarterly insight roundup, Autofocus, they highlight the sector's trends and current requirements, and the EV Café are working closely with Cox Automotive to spread the love for EV. Sarah, Cox, in the same sentence, go.
Aren't they clever? Yes, very, very good to hear this news, because of course everybody wants more efficient charging so they can get back on the road, but a lot of that can be gained at the moment through efficient planning and routing, and perhaps even booking, particularly if it's behind the fence where you know that you're not going to get Mrs. Higgins in the way. So for now, I think we just have to accept that a lot of the new vehicles coming forward can rapid charge, but it's still capped. So the message to me is the same as always, which is putting decent kit that's fully functional and ability to kind of upgrade that as we move through the years.
And also, to your point, Sarah, about planning, I had a meeting yesterday whilst charging on the road, and
Yeah.
you put time in your meetings, because we are blessed with most of the time decent connectivity out in the field, unlike Johnny today, who didn't. But most of the time we do have that, and we have the ability to kind of use our time really wisely. And I saw the same for a British Gas fan who was charging the other day. He's got his laptop there, and he's doing all the work and stuff like that. It's all doable, but whilst we wait for these better.
I am a bit worried though, because I, for the first time in my ancient life, have now got a little bit of a bad back, and I'm convinced that's because I'm constantly in the car, like typing or texting. That's where the grid serve.
While you're driving.
Well, yeah, all the time. Yeah. No, where the forecourt or destination charging hub. Congratulations to Osprey, who opened their beautiful hub this week at Paisley Pear in Northampton. That was really nice, and obviously GridServe have been doing it for ages, which is providing really nice facilities for people to sit and have meetings at whilst they are charging. The one thing I think is missing: gyms. I want to be active whilst my car charges.
Interesting innovation there from Sarah Sloman. The AA, the yellow guys, our partners and supporters, fabulous people, and love them very much. Other breakdown vehicle providers are available. They're just not quite up to the AA standard as far as EVs are concerned, have revealed a hydrogen fuel cell roadside breakdown vehicle, the Hyundai Nexo. to target breakdown jobs in ultra-low emission zones. The hydrogen vehicle was unveiled at the British Motor Show in Farnborough last week. The AA have designed the Nexo to be an operational roadside breakdown vehicle, and it will carry most of the tools, equipment and spares that you would find on the rest of their yellow patrol fleet. The SUV-type vehicle has a fuel cell system which combines oxygen and hydrogen to create a flow of electrons. It's electric, people. People get really het up about this. Hydrogen is an electric vehicle, and it powers the electric drive motor and charges the 1.56 kilowatt-hour high-voltage battery. The Nexo can fuel up in just 5 minutes and has a range of 414 miles, allowing it to handle many of the 10,000 daily breakdowns it attends. Wow, next stage, hydrogen electric vehicles. Paul, going to be really important in the van and big truck sector.
Certainly could be possible. And what, I think we broadly agree that hydrogen probably isn't the solution for cars. But I think it's really brilliant that the AA are out there testing and learning from this experience. They've converted the car to a van, which is always good in my book. Yes. But they are delivering their services from, we got Sam Clark just in time for a conversation.
Just in time, nothing. Yeah, exactly.
But in the van world and in the truck world, I do see what is clear between a really nice hybrid between hydrogen and electric charging, and it could work really well, certainly to increase ranges. The charging speed, as it were, the fueling speed is very, very dependent on a lot of other factors, so it may not be as low as 5 minutes, but certainly under 15 minutes is what's expected in terms of some of the larger truck stuff. So
yeah, it's innovation, right? Congratulations to them. We saw it at the British Motor Show. Full congratulations from me. That whole converting a car into a van, I've been saying for absolutely ages. Assess the need of the thing that you're trying to do. Do you really need a van? Probably not in a lot of cases, as long as you put that sort of strengthening equipment inside so the driver doesn't get squished every time you brake.
Squish drivers to be avoided.
Drivers.
And Sam, what do you think about hydrogen?
I thought that is this the news for 10 years' time? Is that what we're doing? Is it?
Anyway, picking up on the story at the top of the show. Thank you for joining us, Sam. Eventually, You'll know what the story was at the top of the show, presumably.
I wasn't listening.
No, wasn't listening. Hasn't read the script. Anyway, picking up on the story at the top of the show, motoring organisations are expecting 12.5 million separate leisure journeys to be made by car this bank holiday weekend. Today's set to be the most popular day for getting away, with around 4.3 million separate leisure trips planned by drivers, followed by Saturday, 2.3, and Sunday and Monday with 1.3 each. Now, if you think about it, does that really add up? 4.3 go away on Friday and 1.3 come back on Saturday and Sunday.
Sounds good to me.
Something wrong with the numbers.
Bank Holiday Monday. They haven't included Bank Holiday Monday, obviously. What are you thinking?
So, very quickly, are we going to add to that journey profile? Paul, what are you up to?
We're going to Bournemouth. So we're going to see friends in Bournemouth. I am dreading this journey. It is not going to be pretty, I'm sure. So I'm just remembering all my back roads through the New Forest. So hopefully I'll be ducking off and discovering the roundabout, the countryside roundabout. Oh, thanks, Johnny. Well done.
Paul Kirby pretending to have friends. Sarah?
Yeah, I'm already away. I was savvy and made sure I travelled down yesterday lunchtime. So I was here last night and I'm here now. However, I was going to say I branded this as the summer of discontent. I was scared that the majority of people who got their new cars in the March wave of EVs were going to really struggle this summer to charge them because there were not enough rapid chargers, particularly where I'm from in the West Country, the M5 southbound. However, I've not seen any evidence of this. Things are going rather well. I think Exeter's services, good work, Griseb, are going to have a huge part to play in that. However, you're still queuing as well. So shout out to Ionity at Columpton if anybody needs it.
If anybody should be passing through Columpton. Sam, are you adding to the journey profile?
Absolutely not. I'm going nowhere. I'm going to stay in Cheltenham and hopefully enjoy the sunshine.
And JB, have you got any plans for the weekend? Are you taking your car on the road?
I'm not, no. I've been away all week. So I'll be making the most of staying at home with my family this week.
But you're in Trowbridge now, so you've got to get back to Brighton way, which is going to be tough.
Yes. I'm
And
probably.
he already
going
lives on the coast, so that's not so bad, is it? You can walk.
Everybody will be going to the coast at the same time. I'll be going back home. So.
Got to get that tan from somewhere, Johnny.
And Paul, it's nice to know you're going on holiday, mate, because you've just got back from holiday the holiday you just got back from. So it's pretty good.
Exactly.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Well, I mean, what can I say? Our Monday call, I'll be on holiday.
Until next Friday, it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from them. This has been an EV Cafe production. Other sustainability news services are available, but they're just not that fun. The EV Cafe news is regulated by Sparky from My Energy, Tucker from the AA, installed by EV Civils, monitored by Geotab, and thanks to Much Coffee. Any inquiry regarding the accuracy of this news should be addressed to Paul Kirby. Until next week, goodbye.
It's a full house for the last 30 seconds.
Down we go.
Love you all.
Edith
Well, there we
likes
are.
your news, John. She was laughing.
Who does?
Edith
Still
loves
alive.
it. She was like, hee hee hee.